So students, today we are going to start with another system of pulley, and this system of pulley is called as block and tackle system. So the topic of our discussion is block and tackle system. Now how block and tackle system works and why it is first of all called as block and tackle system. So you will find in block and tackle system, you will find there are two blocks of pulleys used. You will find there are two blocks of pulleys what we are going to use. So you will find the first block of pulley is this one. This is the first block of pulley which I am showing you, this one. This is one block of pulley and we have another block of pulley. So this is our another block of pulley. So in fact, in block and tackle systems, we use two blocks of pulley. So we don't have one pulley, but we have two blocks of pulley. And each block may have 2, 3, 4 different types of different number of pulleys in it. If you look at this particular block, you'll find there are two pulleys in this attached to a frame. Here also there are two pulleys attached to a frame. So we are going to have block and tackle system where we are going to have two blocks. Okay. The first one is our upper block. So this block is our upper block. Okay. This is our upper block. This is our upper block. And this is our lower block. So we have two blocks, upper block and lower block. So this part is lower block. It is not necessary that the block should have only two pulleys in it. According to the need, the blocks may differ. The number of blocks in the upper block and the lower block will differ. Now, you will find that the upper block is being fixed to a rigid support. Here, look at the upper block. The upper block is being fixed to a rigid support. So your upper block is not moving. The upper block is fixed and it is tied to a rigid support. So your upper block is tied to a rigid support. But if you look at your lower block, you will find that this lower block is a movable block. Okay, so this lower block is called as a movable block because when you will tie this, when you will stretch this string, this lower block will move up and down. If you pull it down, this will move up, the lower block will move up. If you release it, if you release the string, then the lower block will move down. So your upper block will always remain fixed and rigid and your lower block will keep on moving. So that's why this is called as lower block. Now why this system is called as block and tackle? It is called as block and tackle. Here we have two blocks and you will find that these two blocks are being connected with each other with the help of a string, with the help of a thread, with the help of a tackle. So this thread is called as tackle. Okay, so that's why this system is called as block and tackle. So I hope your idea is very clear. What is block and tackle? So in block and tackle systems, we have two blocks, upper block and lower block. Your upper block is being fixed to a rigid support and the lower block is your movable block, whereas your upper block is a fixed block and it is been tied with the help of a string. Okay, and this string is nothing but we call this string as tackle. So that's why this system is called as block and tackle system. Okay, now you will ask me what's the use of block and tackle system. So the very basic use of block and tackle system is, if you remember, we have discussed single fixed pulley. What was the MA of single fixed pulley? So the MA of single fixed pulley was 1. Then we studied single movable pulley. What was the MA of a single movable pulley? So the MA of a single movable pulley was 2. Okay, but so if you look at single fixed pulley and single movable pulley, single fixed pulley is only used to change the direction of force, but single movable pulley was a force multiplier. But how much is the MA? So the MA is just 2. Means in actual, you will just require half of the effort. You will require half. Assume the load is 100 Newton. So the effort will be half of it. So it is just 2. We have discussed already that in actual practice, we require a machine which is having higher MA. Like assume I want to lift very heavy object. So can I do it with even a single movable pulley? No. Why? Because its MA is just 2. In actual practice, we require pulleys having higher MA, having 3, 4, 5, okay, even more than that. So that's why the block and tackle system is giving us more number of, is giving high number of our mechanical advantage and velocity ratio. Clear class? I hope your idea is very clear about block and tackle system. Now we will proceed with the next slide. Now let's start our discussion with MA. How to calculate MA and how to calculate VR. It's very simple. I am giving you, there are n number of lengthy theory you will find in your textbook which tells you how to find out the MA. But I am giving you a very simple and generalized concept to find out the MA. So if you want to know what is the MA of this system, of this particular block and tackle system, it's very simple. You want to find out? It's very simple. Just find out the number of strings. Just find out the number of strings. Just find out the number of strings directly supporting the movable block. So just understand that how the block and tackle system, what is the MA of block and tackle system? So it is equal to the number of strings directly supporting the movable block. So this is my movable block. Understand? This is our movable block. The upper one is a fixed block. Now, the MA is equal to the number of strings directly supporting the movable block. Why? Because the load, this is our load. You can easily figure out this is our load, and you can find out that the load is connected, is been placed, it's been connected to the movable block only. So we have to find out how many strings directly support the movable block. Okay, so if you check that part, you will come to know that if you look at this particular one, see, this is one string which is supporting the movable block. So this is one string. Then you will find even this string is supporting the movable block. So this is another string. You will find this string is also supporting the movable block. So this is the third string. And this is the fourth string which is supporting the movable block. Is this string supporting the movable block? This one? No. This string is not supporting the movable block. See, this string is supporting the movable block. This one is supporting, this one is supporting, and this one is supporting. This is not supporting the movable block. Okay, so you have to be very clear on this very idea that this string is not supporting the movable block. So how much is the MA of this system? So the MA of this system will come out to be, there are 4 strings which is supporting the movable block. That's why the MA is 4. Now one of you has asked, Aditya has asked, sir, but how this can be the force multiplier? Means he's asking a very obvious question, that how this system is working as a force multiplier. Let me give the same example which I have given yesterday. Okay, let me explain you with the same example. Assume this is my load. Okay, class. Now pay attention how we are saying that the MA or VR is equal to the number of strings directly supporting the movable block. The reason is very simple. Assume this is the load. How much is this load? So this load is equal to 1000 Newton. How much is the load? 1000 Newton. Now, if I alone try to lift it, if I am trying to lift this, will I succeed in lifting it? No. Why? Because I cannot exert I cannot exert a force of 1000 Newton. Assume I cannot do it. So what I will do? I will ask my friend. Okay, so my friend will apply a force from this end and I will apply a force from this end and we both will try to lift it. Exactly. And assume we lifted it. Assume we successfully lifted it. So how much is the, why we have succeeded now? Because one of my friend who is helping me is exerting a force of, he's exerting a force of 500 Newton and I am exerting a force of 500 Newton. So we both are exerting a force of 500 Newton. We both are sharing the load. So how much is the tension in this string? The tension in this string is 500. And how much is the tension in this string? 500. Okay, so you will find that the load is being supported by two strings and each string is sharing half of the load. But now understand, I'm proceeding with another problem. Assume that me and my friend still not able to lift it. Still assume we are not able to lift it. Then what we will do? So we will call some of my more friends to help us. Okay, so assume one of my friend came and he is lifting from one more end and another friend came and he is lifting from this end. Okay, so actually there are four ends now. So assume there are four of us trying to lift this box up. Okay, so and now we succeeded in lifting it. Okay, class, now we succeeded in lifting it. So now say me, how much is each one of us exerting a force? Come on, type your answer, especially Aditya. Say me, how much each one of us is exerting a force to lift the block? Very good. Brilliant, Ishan. Very good, Saujanya. Brilliant answer. How much is each of us is exerting, beta? Each of us is exerting 250 Newton. So what has happened? So you will find that the load is equally divided into four of us. Yes or no, bachcha log? So the load is being equally divided into four of us. And how much is the tension in each string? The tension in each string is 250 Newton. Assume that again six of us, four of us failed to do it. Then I called 10 of my friends. How many friends I called? 10 of my friends. And all of us started to lift it. We are all holding at different positions and we all are trying to lift it. So we all are lifting it from different positions like this. Okay, assume there are so many handles to it. Okay, so assume there are so many handles to this. Now, how much will be the tension? How much is the force each one is going to exert? In this case now, yes. How much each one is going to exert? 100 Newton. And what will be the tension in each string? The tension in each string will also be 100 Newton. The same way here also, beta, Aditya, you had asked this question. So understand, on the similar lines, this is the load. And this load is not lifted by any one of them, but this load is being lifted by four of these strings. Exactly. This load is being equally divided into four of these strings. So that's why you will find the MA is equal to the number of strings directly supporting the movable block. So this is how you can find out the MA. Understand, but this one which I am drawing now, beta, this very string, it is not supporting the movable block. This is not supporting the movable block. So you look at the lower part of it, 1, 2, 3, and 4 strings. So that's why the MA is 4. Now, and what will be the VR as well? So again, you will find, I said na, in the textbook, you will find a different method to find out the velocity ratio. And we know what is the what will be the velocity ratio? It will be the displacement of effort upon displacement of load. So assume that this is the effort. So assume this effort is moved by 1 meter. How much is this effort moved? So assume that this effort is being moved down by 1 meter. So you will find that your load, is being assumed from here. I measure it. So your load is being lifted up. Your load is being lifted up by 0.25 meters. Okay. So if you find the displacement of load and displacement of effort, let's find out what is velocity ratio. So velocity ratio is the displacement of effort upon the displacement of load. Okay. So you will find how much is the displacement of effort. So the displacement of effort is 1. And how much is the displacement of load? So it is 0.25, means 1/4. So 1 divided by 1/4. Take the reciprocal of it and you will find the answer is coming out to be 4. So what is the VR? So VR is 4. Okay. So you will find that how you can easily find out VR as well. So VR is also the number of strings directly supporting the movable block. So this is easily you can find out. There is no derivation for you for finding the MA and VR, but you remember that velocity ratio is the displacement of effort upon displacement of load. Since the MA is equal to VR, so you can easily find out how much is the MA and VR just by counting the number of strings directly supporting the movable block. Okay, so MA is equal to VR. Exactly, but this is true. This very concept is true only in the ideal case. You remember we first discussed the ideal case and then we discuss the actual case. Okay, so our MA is equal to VR. This is our ideal case. Okay, but in actual you don't find it. In actual, what you find, you will always find in actual your VR is more than M. So what is the VR of this? So VR will be 4. And what will be the MA? So MA will be less than 4. Okay, so remember our VR will be the number of strings directly supporting the movable block. But what will be the MA? So MA will not be 4. MA will be less than 4 in actual case. So efficiency is what? Efficiency is MA upon VR. So MA is whatever, assume the MA is 4. So what is the VR? VR is also 4. So MA and VR both are 4. So MA divided by VR, 4 divided by 4 is 1 into 100 is 100%. So in ideal case, you will find MA is same as VR. So the efficiency is 100%. But in actual, your efficiency of the machine will be less than 100%. Why? Due. Now understand what are the reason for the efficiency to be less than 100%. It is due to the friction in the bearings. So you will find frictions here in the bearing. Okay, these are the bearings, beta. Okay, this is a point. Here you will find a friction. Here you will find a friction at the bearing, at the axle. Okay, here you will find the friction and here you will find the friction. Even you will find little bit of friction at the rim as well. So it is due to the friction of the bearing. Again, it is due to the weight of the string. What is the another reason for the MA to be less than 1 is the weight of this string. And the third is the weight of the movable block. These are the 3 reasons why the efficiency of a block and tackle system is less than 100%, because the weight of the movable block, understand, not the weight of the upper block. You should not say the weight of the pulley, or you should not say the weight of the block and tackle system. It is only the weight of the movable block, not the upper block. Why? Because the weight of the upper block is been taken care by this rigid support. So this rigid support is bearing the load, the weight of the upper block, but the lower block is being so the weight of the lower block is being added to the load. So understand, in actual your MA is less than VR, and in actual your efficiency is less than 100%, and that is only due to the friction of the bearings, the weight of the string and the weight of the movable block. So this is how we can easily find out the MA and VR. Now I want all of you to focus on one of a very interesting video which I am showing you. Okay, now all of us will look at this video to understand the things in a better way. Okay.
Suppose you needed to lift something, and there weren't any simple machines to help you. You'd have only your own muscles to rely on to do the work. The stronger you were, the easier it would be. If you weren't so strong, you might try to think of something to help you. A rope passed over a branch might help make the work easier. But it would also have its problems, with friction, for instance. To solve this problem, you might think of using a wheel, one with a groove in it, mounted so it can turn, and so you can hang it from something. When a rope is passed over this, it can move with much less friction than it can scraping over a branch. The groove in the wheel keeps the rope from slipping off. The whole arrangement, the wheel and the rope that goes over it, is called a pulley. Pulleys are simple machines that help people do work. This one is a fixed pulley because it stays in one place as you use it. How does a fixed pulley make lifting things easier? Suppose you attach a weight or a load here. A pull down on your end of the rope causes a pull up on the other end. You apply a force in one place, and that produces a force in another place to lift a load. The amount of force you apply is the same as the force that acts on the load. If the load weighs 25 pounds, then you have to pull down with a force of 25 pounds in order to lift it. And if it weighs 50 pounds, you have to pull down with 50 pounds of force, the same amount of force you'd need to lift the load without the pulley.
Exactly. So this is what I said to you. So if you look at the single fixed pulley, the load is equal to the effort because it is just working as a force multiplier.
So a fixed pulley does not increase your force. It helps you lift things by changing the direction of force. It allows you to pull down in order to lift something up. For instance, if you want to raise a flag up a pole, you don't have to climb the pole and pull it up. You can put a fixed pulley at the top and raise the flag without leaving the ground. And if you loop the rope around a second fixed pulley at the bottom, you can also pull the flag down. If you lift something by pulling it up, only your muscles do the work. But when you pull down, your own weight can help you. Using your own weight as a force, you can raise something that weighs less than you do.
Clear? So this is the reason I was talking about. This is the reason that when you pull something up, you exert the force by your muscles only. But when you pull something down, your weight, the weight of your body, your weight also acts as a effort. And that's the reason why we find it very convenient to pull something down, because your weight of your body is acting as a effort.
But not something that weighs more. But with a pulley, you don't have to use only your own weight. Suppose you want to lift something that weighs 100 pounds. you could hang another weight, a counterweight, on your end of the rope. If the counterweight weighs 90 pounds, that wouldn't lift the load. But all you'd have to supply is the difference, 10 pounds of force, and you could lift it.
So this is also the interesting way to do it, okay, to lift something very heavy. And this mechanism is used in lifts, in your elevators, okay. In your elevators, but in the lift, you will find this mechanism is used. So if you look at the lift now carefully, especially the ones which we can see what's there behind, okay, you will find some heavy loads is getting moved up and down. So this mechanism is already been used in our lift system.
Fixed pulleys and counterweights are often used in lifting machines, like elevators. Counterweights sometimes make lifting easier, but there can be a big problem with them, especially if they're heavy. In order to use them, you first have to lift them to hang them in place. If you're not strong enough to do that, you still have the same problem as before, how to lift heavy things. To make that really easy, fixed pulleys aren't enough. You also need a different kind of pulley, a movable pulley. It's called that because it moves with the load. The pulley is suspended by this rope, with one portion of the rope, or rope segment, on each side. Each rope segment supports half the load. If one person supports the whole load, he supplies all the lifting force himself. But suppose two people each hold one of the rope segments. Then they share the lifting equally. They each need to lift with only half as much force.
So this is what is the basic principle behind single movable pulley. Okay class, now pay attention. This is where you will come to know how the MA is increasing.
Exactly the same thing happens if one end of the rope is attached to something that doesn't move. If you're lifting the other end, you still need to lift with a force equal to only half the weight of the load. This end still supports the other half. And because the rope can roll through the pulley, when you pull up with your half, you raise the whole load. So when you apply a force here, the pulley lifts with twice as much force here. With 10 pounds of force, you can lift a load that weighs 20 pounds. Of course, now the load includes the weight of the movable pulley. With 25 pounds of force, you can lift a load that weighs 50 pounds. And with 50 pounds, you can lift a 100-pound load. But with machines, you never get something for nothing. To get this increased force, you have to move your force an increased distance. If you want to lift the load a distance of 1 foot, you have to move your force 2 feet.
You remember, we cannot get something for nothing. There is no free lunch. Okay, here also you observe the same thing, that when the weight is being lifted, assume the load has to be lifted by 1 meter, then the effort has to be displaced by 2 meters. Okay, because remember the working principle, work input is equal to work output, and work is equal to force into distance. So there, since we are getting more force, okay, so we have to displace less force for a longer distance.
To move the load 2 feet, you move 4 feet, always twice as far. So when the movable pulley is suspended by 2 rope segments, you have to exert your force over twice the distance the load moves, and in exchange the pulley lifts with twice as much force as you do. But one big problem with movable pulleys is that you have to pull up, and for heavy loads that's not always easy. You need something that will allow you to lift by pulling down instead. But that's what a fixed pulley does. Suppose you combine the fixed pulley with the movable pulley to get the advantages of both. The movable pulley still doubles your force, and at the same time, the fixed pulley lets you pull down. So here, finally, is a simple machine that really does make lifting easier. With this arrangement of pulleys, you can lift twice your own weight. One way to compare different pulley arrangements is to use the idea of mechanical advantage. Since this pulley arrangement doubles your force, it has a mechanical advantage of 2. You can find the mechanical advantage of any pulley arrangement by simply counting the rope segments that support the movable pulley. In this case, 2. It doesn't matter where this end is attached, so for convenience you could attach it here, like this. The mechanical advantage is still the same, because the number of rope segments that support the movable pulley is the same.
Clear? Listen what he is saying carefully. The number of rope segments that is supporting the movable pulley is still 2. So see, this is this is the load, and you will find there are 2 segments. These are our 2 segments which is supporting the load. Which are those 2 segments? This one and this one. So these are the 2 segments which is supporting the load. So even here you can use the concept of block and tackle. Okay, and what is the MA of this? The MA of this is coming out to be 2.
Why isn't the mechanical advantage 3? Aren't there 3 rope segments? You don't count this one. You only count the rope segments that directly support the movable pulley. A mechanical advantage of 2 is some help. But if you need to raise very heavy loads, you need more lifting force. You get it not by adding more muscles, but by using combinations of pulleys that give you more rope segments. Suppose you add another fixed pulley, for instance, and run the rope this way. Now 3 rope segments support the movable pulley, so the mechanical advantage is 3. Or suppose you start again with this combination, and then add another combination just like it. So you have 2 movable pulleys and 2 fixed pulleys. And then hang the load from both movable pulleys. Now, how many rope segments support the movable pulleys? 4. So that's the mechanical advantage. But why does this combination make a mechanical advantage of 4? How does this work? Let's imagine that you and 3 other people were each holding a segment of the rope. It would be clear that each person would support 1/4 of the load. If the load weighs 80 pounds, each person supports 20 pounds. But it doesn't matter what holds up the segments. So if you attach this segment here and join these 2 segments over a fixed pulley, each segment still supports 20 pounds, and you still pull with 20 pounds. But because the rope can roll through these pulleys, when you pull up with 20 pounds, that raises the whole 80-pound load. The pulley system multiplies your force by 4, so 4 is the mechanical advantage. To make things even easier, you can add another fixed pulley. So you can still apply your force to this rope, but now you can do it by pulling down with 20 pounds. The movable pulleys are still supported by the same number of rope segments. So the mechanical advantage is still the same. The pulley system still multiplies your force by 4. And in exchange, you have to exert your force 4 times the distance that the load moves. You trade distance to get force. Now, suppose you arrange these pulleys in a much more compact way.
Now understand here, class, this is where the trick goes now. Now this system is being converted to block and tackle system. Okay, so what we are doing, we are just arranging them in a more compact way. Okay, so block and tackle is nothing but the same arrangement where we will find there are 2 movable blocks, there are 2 movable pulleys and 2 fixed pulleys. So 2 fixed pulleys and 2 movable pulleys are being arranged in a little more compact way, and that is nothing but that is our block and tackle system. See.
You can put these two pulleys next to each other on the same axle. The same with these two. The pulleys still work the same way, and the mechanical advantage is still 4.
Now here you will find they are overlapped, means they are fixed on the same axle. But in our block and tackle system, what we have done, just for you to understand it in a little better way, we are having two pulleys, one below the other. Here also we are having two pulleys, but you can convert that into this format. And this is where this type of pulley system you will find in cranes for lifting heavy objects. See.
This device is called a block. This is another block. The whole system, pulleys, blocks, and ropes, is called a block and tackle. The more pulleys and rope segments in a block and tackle, the greater the mechanical advantage, and the heavier the loads you can lift. So pulleys are simple machines that you can use in many different combinations to help you do work. But in all of them, you either change the direction of force with one or more fixed pulleys, or trade distance to get force, usually to lift something with a block and tackle.
Okay, so I hope now your idea is very clear that how a block and tackle system works. Okay, so now I will share the assignment. So let's talk about the assignment. Wait a minute. Let me share a screen. Okay, now pay attention. Look at this. Okay, I will little. Okay, now look at this one. Okay, this is a page number 76 of your workbook. Okay, this is the page number 76 of your workbook. And what it says very interesting question which we should understand. It says that the following diagram, in the following diagram, draw the string around the pulley such that we are talking about ideal condition. Your ideal condition, your MA or VR should be 4. And here you have to arrange in such a way that your MA and VR is 5. Identify MA and VR. Okay. Now, this is what is our assignment. All of you, please take your notebook and draw this. And let's find out how to do the winding of the strings around it. Okay, now listen class, this is very important because such type of questions will be asked. So what you have to do, you have to draw the strings around the pulley such that in ideal condition your MA and VR is 4. Here also the MA and VR is 4. So is it possible to have MA and VR as 4 for this combination as well as this combination? If you check it little carefully, here there are two pulleys in the upper block and two in the lower. And in the second part, you will find there are two pulleys in the upper block and two in the lower block. Okay, so let's do the winding of it. Okay, class, let's proceed with the winding of it. How we will do the winding of, how we will do the winding in such way. Okay, so I will give a very basic and important trick. And what's that trick? The trick is very simple. You have to start winding from outside. You have to start winding from the outside. Now here, understand, you want MA to be 4. And how many pulleys are there? So there are 4 pulleys in the system. So there are 4 pulleys in the system. And how many, and how much is the MA and VR we are expecting? 4. So you start winding from outside in this way. From where we start? We started from here. So we place the wire string like this in a downward direction. Understand, your effort will be in a downward direction. This is the direction of your effort. Why this will be the direction of the effort? Because the MA we want from this system is equal to the number of pulleys. How many number of pulleys are there in the system? 4. Okay. So we draw it. Now this is moving. The string is moving like this. Now the string will come out from here, the other end. Okay. And from here, from this end, you will find that the string will go to this end. Clear? From one end, it goes to the other end. Clear class? So understand, from here, I am doing the winding. From here, it goes to the lowermost end. Now, from this end of the wire, the string, where it will go? It will go to the upper end. So it's very simple. From lower end, from upper block, go to the lower block. From lower block, go to the upper block. And keep on moving from upper block to lower block. So I have done it. So this is my upper block. From here, it goes to the lower block. Now, this is my lower block. From here, we will go to the upper block, but there is a problem in the upper block. In the upper first pulley, both the ends are being occupied. So what we will do then? So we will go to this block. So from here, we will go to here. Clear? So this is how we will do it. So now from here, where the other end will go? So the other end will go to the lower block, but you will find the lower block is already occupied. The lowermost pulley of the lower block is occupied. So we'll use another one. So from here, the pulley will go here. The string will come like this. Clear? So now this end is moving around here. So the other end will come out from here. Now there is an interesting trick. Now what will happen here? So here this end is my end. So where should I fix this end? So obviously this end has to be fixed. Now where we should fix this end? So this end you cannot fix in the upper pulley because both the ends are occupied. But generally you will find there is a hook here. There is a hook here. Okay, so what you can do, you can fix this end like this here. Okay, so this is how the arrangement is. This is how the arrangement can be done. Now look at, now count the number of strings supporting the movable block. Count the number of strings supporting the movable block. So this is our movable block. You will find this string is supporting. So this is your first string. Even this is supporting second. This is supporting third. And this is supporting fourth. So how many strings are directly supporting the movable block? So you will find 4 strings are supporting the movable block. So that's why the MA is 4. And this is what? This is your effort. Understand? This is a string, but this is your effort. Clear class? So you will find there are 4 strings supporting. Okay. Now, let's proceed with the next one. Let's proceed with the next one. Now here, how much VR we are expecting? So we are expecting MA and VR to be 5. We are expecting MA and VR to be 5. Please draw this diagram. Huh? Please draw this diagram. So here we are expecting MA and VR to be 5. So what we will do, now here the VR or MA is more than the number of pulleys in the block. How many are there? Total number of pulleys in the block? 4. And we want 5. So what you do? You start it from this direction where you support it in an upward direction like this. You support it in upward direction. Okay, this is how we have to do. So this is how you are supporting it, means you are exerting a force now in a upward direction. So your effort is in the upward direction. Okay, now the other end we will take. Now where this end will go, this end, the other end, this end will go up. So we go to the upper block here, the uppermost. Okay. Now this is there. Now the other end, the wire will go around this pulley and come down. Now where we will use it? The lower block, the lower pulley of the lower block is occupied. So we'll use the second one. So it is, this is how the arrangement will go. It will go like this. Yeah. Now from here, this other end will go. Where it will go? So it will go to the upper block. But the 2 ends are been already, the topmost pulley is occupied. So we'll use the another one, which is below it. So here it will go. Okay, now it will go here and the other end will come from here. But now where it should be placed? So again, there is a problem. There is no place left. So here you will find, actually there are hooks. It is not shown in the diagram, but here again you will find a hook. There is a hook here. Okay. So what we have to do then, this end will be tied here. Clear? So now we will do the counting. Let's count the number of pulleys supporting the movable block. So see, this pulley is supporting the movable block? Yes. This pulley is supporting? Yes. Is this pulley supporting? Yes. Is this pulley supporting? Yes. And what about this pulley? Even this is supporting the movable block. So count the number of strings supporting the movable block and you will find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 strings which is supporting the movable block, and that's why the MA as well as VR of this system is 5. Please draw this diagram very quickly. I'm giving you 2 minutes to draw this diagram. So you need to understand, class, that the MA and VR for the number of pulleys can change. Okay, so here though there are 4 pulleys in the system, the MA and VR is 4, and here also there are 4 pulleys in the system, but here the MA and VR is coming out to be 5. Okay, so accordingly you have to analyze and you have to consider, and this is your effort. This is your effort. Now, have you copied it, class? If you have copied it, please type yes in the box. All of you have copied? All of you have copied, beta? हाँ, please copy it, बच्चा. हाँ, copy it, beta. हाँ, quickly. Okay. See, I will clear it, then I will not able to undo it. So please copy it. All of you type yes if you have copied it, because if you say me, sir, please show me, then I have to do that entire process again. I cannot do it. Okay, sure. This is what you have to do in your notebook as well. Now, here it says identify the MA VR of the following pulley system. So we are shown some pulley systems. I want all of you to respond to this. MA and VR of the following pulley systems in ideal and actual condition. Okay, so look at it. We are having 3 diagrams, class. We are having 3 diagrams. We are having diagram A, diagram B, and diagram C. Can you see this? This is my diagram A, this is diagram B, and this is diagram C. Now we will talk about diagram A. Now we have to find out 2 things, MA and VR of ideal condition and MA and VR of actual condition. Quickly type the MA and VR of the pulley A of ideal condition. Quickly type MA and VR of pulley A, ideal condition. Yes, very good. Very good. Brilliant answer. Yes, all of you are getting it right, beta. Yes. How much is the MA? So look at, for finding the MA, it's very simple. What you have to do, you have to just look at the number of strings supporting the movable block. So this is my movable block, this string is supporting and this is supporting. So how much is my MA? 2. And how much will be the VR? VR will also be 2 in the ideal case. So my MA is coming out to be 2 and my VR is also coming out to be 2. So my MA is 2 and my VR is 2. This is for ideal condition. Now, can you say me the MA and VR for actual condition? Think and say me. MA and VR for actual condition. Type both the answers together. Type both the answers together. MA and VR for actual condition. MA and VR for actual condition. No one? Don't say, okay, nice try, Aditya, nice try. No, 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 no. Ishan, will it be less than 1? No, beta Ishan. I want others to give your opinion. Quickly give your opinion. It's okay if your opinion is wrong. Brilliant. Anisha has given the right answer. Very good, Anisha. Okay. 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 Others are saying that the MA is 1. No, MA is not 1. You cannot say how much is the MA. Huh. But your MA is less than 2. How much is your MA? It's not going to be 2. It's going to be less than 2. Whereas your VR is going to be 2. Is going to be 2. So your MA is less than 2 and VR is 2. So your VR will not change. Your VR will remain the same for the actual case as well as ideal case. But your MA, which is 2, will become little less than 2. You cannot say it is 1. It will be less than 2. Clear? Chalo. Now quickly jump to the figure B. Chalo. Now say me what is the MA and VR of ideal condition in figure B, in the diagram B. Give me both the answers. Ishan, which one you are saying? I'm asking about B. No, beta. Look at the diagram carefully, Ishan. Rest all of you are giving right answer. Very good. Anisha, Jagruti, Arya, all of you, Swadha, Harshita, Aditya, Swam, Bhakti. Yes, beta. You have to just count the number of strings supporting the movable block. So you will find this one is supporting the movable block, this is supporting, and this is also. So how much is the MA and VR? So you will find your MA is coming out to be 3 and your VR is also 3. That's the ideal case. Now say me, sorry, what about the actual condition of MA and VR? Yes, very good. Brilliant answer, Harshita now. Swadha, Shreya, Harshu, Anisha, very good. Your MA will be less than 3, whereas your VR will actually be 3. Clear? Chalo, let's do it for the third one now. The C one. How much is your MA and VR? How we will find out? We'll find out how many strings are supporting the movable block. The C one. Okay. Yes, very good. So you will find C. Though there are one pulley in the upper block and two pulley in the lower block, still you find that the MA is coming out to be 4. And remember, just now I said you that how much is the number of pulleys? The number of pulleys are 3 in the block, but I want MA to be 1 more. I want MA to be 1 more than that. Okay, so whenever you require MA to be more than the number of pulleys in the block, the number of pulleys are 3. I want MA to be 4. So what we do? We apply the effort in the upward direction. See, this is the effort which is in the upward direction. So this is what you should always remember. If the MA is more than is 1 more than the number of pulleys in the system. In the here we are having 3 pulleys in the system. I want MA to be 4. So what we do? We keep the effort in a upward direction and find out this is the one which is supporting the movable block. This is the one 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what is your MA in ideal condition? So your MA is equal to 4. And what about your VR? So your VR is also equal to 4. And what about the actual condition class? Sorry, ideal condition class. What about ideal condition class? So you are fine. In ideal condition, your MA will be less than 4, whereas your VR will be 4. Clear? Yes, very good. That's correct answer. Please copy this. Now, more tricky answers. Now, more tricky questions. Now, look at this. Identify the MA and VR for ideal condition in the following system. So, my first question is this one. Okay, I'm talking about this system. Okay, I'm talking about this one, which I have just mentioned it with a, which we have mentioned with a block. Okay, the red one. And now say me what is the MA and VR of this system. Think twice. And I'm talking about ideal condition now. Okay, so when we say ideal condition, we know very well that they both will be same. Think twice, think twice. Very good, Arya. Think twice, Jagruti. जागृति जरा ठीक से सोचो बेटा. नो मृगल, क्या कर रहे हो? नो 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 नो. Chalo, let me. Some of you are getting confused. Swayam has given the right answer. Bhakti has given the right answer. Anisha, just think twice, beta. Anisha, see, this is the load. Now this load is supported by two. Okay. So in fact, this is directly one. So this is the string which is supporting the movable block, and this is again supported by two. So even this and this is supporting the movable block. So how many are there? In fact, there are three strings which is supporting, because this is divided into two. Okay, so what is the MA and VR? So you will find that the MA and VR is coming out to be 3, because there are three strings which is directly supporting the movable block. Okay, so how much is the MA and VR of this system? 3 3. Okay, so let's talk about this system now. This one, the one I have made, this one, semi. What is the MA and VR? Very good, Jagruti. Very good, Ishan. Swam, brilliant. Yes, Bhakti. This is nothing but this is our. No, no, Mrugal. Please check it carefully, beta. You have to count. Mrugal, स्वदा क्या कर रहे हो बेटा? गलती से मिस्टेक होगी क्या? तुमसे क्या आंसर दिया स्वदा तुमने? ओके, ये Mrugal, remember you have to find the number of strings. Mrugal, you have to find the number of strings directly supporting the load. So you will find this is your weight, this is your load, and how many strings are supporting it? This is the first one and this is the second one. So there are two strings which is supporting your load, and this is just changing the direction. So what is the MA and VR? So the MA and VR is 3. Okay, how much is the MA and VR of this system? Oh, I'm so sorry. I said 3 or what? I said MA and VR is 2. The MA and VR of this system is 2. MA is also 2 and VR is also 2. Why? Because there are two strings which is supporting. There are two strings which is supporting the load. Okay, this is the load and two strings are supporting. Okay, no problem, beta. No problem. So now let's do this one. See, I will highlight which one I'm talking about. I'm talking about this system now. I'm talking about this system. This one. Chalo, say me how much is the MA and VR. Count it properly. Count it properly. You have to follow the same rule. The rule is the number of strings directly supporting the load. The number of strings directly supporting the movable block or the movable pulley. So how many movable pulleys do we have? So you find out, yes, this is one movable pulley, this is movable pulley, and this is also a movable pulley. The upper one are fixed pulley. Okay, so how many strings are supporting it? So this is the string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even this string is supporting. So what is the MA and VR? Yes, the MA and VR of this system is 6. Let's talk about this one. See, I'm selecting it. I'm showing you. I'm talking about this one now. Now say me how much is the MA and VR. Very good, Harshita. Very good, Ishan, Bhakti, Swam. All of you are getting it right now. You got the idea. See, this is one string, this is another, this is the third, and this is the fourth. So there are 4 strings which is supporting the movable block or the load. So how much is the MA and VR? So you will find the MA and VR is 4. Brilliant, beta. Very good. So let's talk about this one now. Let's talk about this one. Wait a minute. See which one I'm selecting and then you give the answer. I'm selecting this one. Same. Yes, very good. Come on, quickly respond. Quickly give your response. Beta. Yes. So this is the load, and this one, two, three, four. So how many strings are there? No, beta Ananya. Please check. There are four strings which is supporting this load. So this is my load, and you will find there are four strings which is supporting this load. This is changing the direction only. This end is changing the direction. So my MA is 4 and my VR is also 4. Okay. Now let's talk about this diagram. Let's talk about this diagram. This one. Same. How much is the MA and VR? Very good, Saujanya. Very good. Count it properly. Saujanya, correct answer, beta. Yes, Ishan. Harshita, ठीक से count करो बेटा. Anisha, your answer is right. Jagruti, your answer is right. Mrugal, your answer is right. Arya, your answer is right. Yes, Aditya, Swayam, Ananya. Yes, your answer is right. Look at the number of strings supporting the movable block. So you will find there are six strings which is supporting. See, one, two, three, four, five, six. There are six strings in all. Okay, we are not going to consider this string. We are not going to consider this string because this is not supported. So my MA is also 6 and my VR is also 6. Very good. Okay, so I hope your idea is very clear. Now just one thing, a very small thing you have to remember, and the topic is the small thing you have to remember is how to do the winding. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you are doing the winding. Okay, you have to always do the winding from outside and not from inside. You have to do the winding from outside, and if the number of pulleys are same as the MA and VR we are asked, MA and VR we have been asked, then you do and put the effort in a downward direction. But assume there are four pulleys and you have been asked to find out and you have been asked to make it as MA and VR as 5. Then what you will do? You will put the effort in a upward direction. Okay, class. So this is all what we have for our for the topic of this is what we have for pulleys.